Okay, I'm Lenora Qereqeretabua. This is my mom. Oh, sorry. Okay, start again.
It was a huge excitement. I mean, it was the only big festival on it that everybody looked forward to.
I was going to say, what about the dresses?
Okay, the dresses, very traditional, nothing special. Box pleats and sleeves about this long, collared. And going to pick the shoes is something else. Because having grown up, I didn't wear shoes regularly until I was 19.
We didn't have a Miss Hibiscus contest in 1987 because it was the year of the first coup in Fiji. So 1988 was much looked forward to by everybody. There was a lot of excitement in the air. When they announced my name as being the winner, it was just, I was in shock. I still have the photograph, I think, of me, and my reaction. It was the front page of the paper, I think, that 2 days later, of the shock that I felt.
At that time, I thought I didn't have a chance at all because there were other girls who were very sophisticated, came from upper crust family of Fiji. It was a bit surprise, a big surprise. And I remember sitting on my chair, and I went. I remember consciously doing that because I had a feeling it was going to be me. I had a feeling, like a split second. And I said, gosh, is it me? Yeah. The float was quite a lot of fun. Kids were pointing at us, and I'm sitting there, half, in my tapa, traditional Fijian costume.
It was great, sitting up there. Little girls with their faces, you're thinking, oh no, she wants to be a hibiscus contestant one year, you're smiling, like, don't do it. But it was fun.
Oh, look at me coming out. This is the sort of clothes we wore in those days. Knife pleats, below the knee. And I remember this was a yellow dress. And I had beautiful, look at it. I mean, everything had, and look at my waistline.
Beautiful.
No pierced ears, no makeup, no plucked eyebrows.
Hibiscus in 1988 was definitely not a beauty pageant. I keep joking to people, I wouldn't have won 1988 if it had been a beauty pageant. And of course, over the years, people have always accused the hibiscus and the other pageants that have come up in its wake as being beauty pageants that objectified women. But in 1988, they asked you general knowledge questions. They sat down and spoke to you in the private judging. So it was less about what you look like and more what was in your head. Since then, personally, I think it's lost its charm, it's lost its shine. I think it's expanded too much and it's been watered down to this thing where there's just been too many categories that people could enter. On the other hand, those categories have given a lot of young people an opportunity to stand on stage and to speak their minds about different issues. So it's given young people, as teens even, a chance to stand up on stage and speak in public. And that's one thing I think the festivals have been able to help with in terms of the development of a certain part of a young person's persona.